If it's too late to worry and you're too blue to cry, then get ready for Dr. Laurie Roth. She's a Ph.D., black belt, host, singer, songwriter, mom, gun owner, survivor, and red-blooded American through and through. From 3,000 feet up in the mountains of Washington, it's the Annie Oakley of the airwaves. Ready or not, here she comes, Dr. Laurie Roth.
Welcome to the Unsolved Crime segment we have each and every week at this time. And Susan Murphy-Milano has joined me, and she has a couple guests she's brought on. Let me tell you about Susan. She is a survivor. She's a crime blogger. She's a best-selling author. She has her own show, and she has a passion to help people who are victims. And I'll have her tell you a little later about her books and how she can help you. And she really does. She saved many lives. And we talk about cold cases and crimes. She's brought on with her Monica Quezon, and she is the head of the Q Center for Missing Persons. And we've talked with Monica many a time. And there is a gentleman missing. I'm looking right at his picture, handsome young man, Terrance Williams. Wow, this is not good. He's been missing for some time, and his mom, Marcia Williams, is with us. Welcome to all of you. Hi, Marcia, Monica, and Susan.
Hi.
Hi. We talk about missing persons as crimes and everything else. We don't know why they're missing. Last hour, I was talking about the hundreds and thousands of missing people and dead people in Japan right now. Yeah. Absolutely, they're saying it could be 25 or 35,000, and then you've got their nuclear reactors melting down. What a nightmare. And the horror and pain of all those families not finding their mom or dad or their kid or their kids is going on right now. I can't even imagine what it's like, Marcia, to suddenly not have any idea of what happened to Terrance. Tell the folks what you know about that situation, Marcia, if you would. Sorry.
I know that there was a 3-day span, and I had not heard from him.
Okay.
So, therefore, I started searching, trying to find him. I went to the sheriff's department, and I was told, well, since he's an adult, he can leave, come and go as he please. And if you haven't heard from him in a month, you can come back, and you can file a missing persons report.
Now, was he living close to you or in your house?
He was living with his roommate.
Okay.
But I spoke with Terrance every day, two or three times a day.
So you were close, and you didn't live too far from him, and all of a sudden 3 days went by and you hadn't heard anything?
Nothing.
Okay. And what was, tell us about Terrance. I mean, was he a college student? Was he high school? Was he working? Who is Terrance?
Terrance was a working guy. Terrance was working at one time 2 jobs just before he disappeared.
Okay.
He would catch the bus to work because although he was grown, I still didn't allow him to drive a car because that was bad. But, grown or not, children do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Without you knowing. He has 4 children, very close to them. At one point, he wanted to just take care of all of them by himself. But this particular Wednesday, his roommate called, and he actually said, have you heard from Terrance? And I said, no. And I said, he's just probably somewhere, just chilling out. He'll get in touch with us. And we searched, we called everyone. No Terrance. Terrance still had not called.
Did he have a cell phone?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
That was the bad part.
Hold on, we'll find out more on the other side. Let's find out what happened to Terrance Williams and where it goes from here and what's been done to find him. And Monica, weigh in anytime you want. And Susan, I'm Laurie Roth.
No, this is not American Idol, so keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Laurie Roth will be back in just mere moments.
You heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. Tax Masters will help solve your tax problems. Do you owe back taxes? Being audited? Have several years of unfiled returns? Wages being garnished? Is the IRS calling or sending threatening letters? Whatever your tax-related problem, the former IRS agents and tax professionals at Tax Masters can help. Call 1-877-869-4829 or simply 1-877-869-4TAX or go to txmstr.com. Again, txmstr.com. Don't take on the IRS by yourself. The folks at Tax Masters have helped many good people just like you. Some might want you to believe there's a new, friendlier IRS, but don't be fooled. This is not the case. Call Tax Masters 1-877-869-4829 or go to txmstr.com. Tax Masters will solve your tax problems.
Have you ever consumed protein powder supplements? I have, and all of them don't taste that good. Have artificial flavors, sweeteners, or unhealthy sugars. About a year ago, I was introduced to a new protein powder that changed my experience. This protein powder made me feel noticeably better, and it tasted more delicious than any drink I've ever had. Here's the experience of one satisfied user named Rich.
The term best of all worlds has been belabored to death, and yet I've just discovered a whey protein powder that truly deserves to be called best of all worlds. Best taste, by far. Best results, by far. You almost feel like you're cheating, that something that tastes that good could be so good for you. Thank you, Stephen and Cocoon Nutrition. One World Whey truly is the best of all worlds. The only way for me. Yours truly, Rich from Georgia. Real user, real happy.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
Her name is Dr. Laurie Roth, and here she is again, right now.
We're talking about Terrence Williams, who is missing and has been for 7, nearly 8 years. We're talking with his mother, Marcia Williams, who's lived with this horror and the lack of closure for some time, and Monica Quezon of Q Center for Missing Persons. We've talked with her many times, and Susan Murphy Milano, crime blogger, survivor in her own right, and author. Marcia, I understand how hard this is to talk through these situations. Bring us forward. So you hadn't heard from Terrence for 3 days, and his roommate called you, and you suspected a rat. What happened then? Where's this gone?
At that point, of course, I had to call home. I'm not from Florida, so I called home, and I told the whole family. And my sister and a girlfriend of hers, she said, pull the telephone book. Give me all of the hospital numbers, all of the cemetery, every number that you can think of that you can give it to me. So they made calls. They made calls to the cemetery everywhere, even the record service, you know, where they tow your cars. And she called me back. She said, we found this car. And I said, where? And she told me the name of the place. And then at that point she told me, she said, it was picked up from a cemetery. He was pulled over at the Naples Memorial Garden Cemetery by a cop. And thank God for witnesses.
So someone or some people had seen him pulled over by a police officer.
Terrence was smart enough to pull around the parking lot and park in front of the front door of the cemetery.
So that people could see him.
So that they could see him at that time.
Okay.
There was a cremation taking place, Susan, so the people that were there doing the cremation actually witnessed it. So they were good, solid witnesses.
Okay, so they were good, solid witnesses who saw Terrence pulled over by a police officer for a ticket of some kind.
Yes, he was blue lighted over.
Okay.
And the deputy asked them, could he leave Terrence's car there? He said, I'll be back to have it towed. And from that point, Terrence was placed in the cruiser. He did not handcuff him. We were told that he took Terrence to a gas station. It's called the Circle K. There's nowhere on film that he dropped Terrence off at the Circle K. Maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, wait a second. I want to back up just a second, Marcia. So they're saying that for some reason he was escorted into the back of the car, the police car, to go get gas, and he wasn't arrested allegedly, according to the cop. He had an empty gas.
According to the cop, he just gave Terrence a ride because Terrence told him that he was late for work.
I see. So was the idea that the cop stopped just to stop because he saw Terrence parked there, or he stopped Terrence?
I believe he stopped Terrence. He blue lighted Terrence over, according to the witnesses.
Okay, so they saw the blue lights. Okay, so he stopped him, and then allegedly he says he took him to some sort of store to get gas.
To get him close to work, let's per se, okay?
Oh.
And in the police report, it said that he told everyone that Terrence's car was in distress, which is not the truth, because the car was just taken out of the shop, and the car rode fine.
Was there a ticket written that day, though?
Not one ticket. And
okay, because he did not have a valid driver's license, right?
He did not have a valid driver's license.
His registration had expired.
Right.
And the vehicle belonged to somebody else.
The vehicle, Terrence had the title.
Okay.
And I have the title to this day.
All right.
So there were like 6 violations that he could have written Terrence a ticket for.
Was there any blood in the car when they found it? Was there any disturbing thing as far as on the seats, under the seats? Did you have somebody look at it, or were you able to look at it?
Nothing. The car, once Collier County Sheriff's Department realized that there was really something wrong, they went to the tow company. They pulled Terrence's car, took it and investigated it, examined it and everything, and took it back to the tow company. And
I want to know what they would think to make this appear that something was wrong. If it was just a missing person, does it make sense to you, Monica or Laurie, that, okay, this is a simple thing, but it doesn't seem to be. Why would they? I would want to know, why would they think something was wrong?
Well, none of it makes any kind of sense. And the bottom line is that the Circle K thing, it came up again later in another missing man, which we'll talk about later. But the bottom line is, Terrence was placed in that car. There were some things done, but later it was discovered that the officer was not being truthful. He failed a polygraph test. He was.
Wait, the police officer failed a polygraph test?
Yes.
Is he still on the force?
No.
Well, I guess my question, Monica and Marcia, from the story, so Terrence was placed in the car and witnesses saw that. So then did he magically disappear after that? Nobody knows what happened to him? I don't get where did he go?
In broad daylight. He just disappeared.
He disappeared out of the back of the police car with a cop there that's put him in the car. And so, why have they not investigated this cop? And what did the cop say? He just, God put him into a zone, a tube, and put him into heaven? What did the cop possibly say?
He just dropped him off at the Circle K.
Oh, I see.
That's what the report says. He just dropped him off at the Circle K.
And so nobody at the Circle K saw that?
No one. Nowhere on camera, nothing.
So was he polygraphed after Terrence's disappearance?
Yes.
Did they give any indication that there were, because you just don't do that out of the blue.
No.
So did they give any indication that there were other people suspected along the way before your son that caused them an alarm bell to go off to go and do this?
No. They did not give any indication.
Was your son, from your own investigation, Marcia, was he involved with anyone or anything that could have had an interplay or exchange with the local police, and particularly this police officer?
I've tried to figure that out. I think about that all the time. Where Has he ever encountered him? And I think that he may have. I'm not going to say that he did, but I'm thinking that he may have, because the route that Terrence went to work is the route that the police had, that the deputy had.
What about Terrence's son, Terrence's children's mother? Was she dating him, or somebody that he could have known in that kind of a connection? Was that possible?
That I do not know. The mother of the children doesn't even live here.
Okay. Was she helpful in any way with any information once you realized that he was missing?
I'm sure that everybody was investigated back home. I'm sure that everybody was.
But did you speak to, have you had any more contact since your son's been missing with his children's mother?
Yes. Every time I go home.
Okay.
Yes. Very close.
All right. It just doesn't make any sense. Go ahead.
The children and the mother and the children or what have you are very supportive and attend his events or anything like that comes up for him. Marcia, goes home to visit, quite often, see the grandkids and is in communication. So, there's no chance of him being with anybody in the family. I've actually been to that state as well and met several of the family members and so forth. Trust me, they all know Terrence is missing and something is real wrong here. Some national coverage has taken place on this case, and this officer, is definitely the last person that saw Terrence Williams and communicated and touched him and had anything to do with him. And, and from all the information that we have, and I have, written information from his IA interviews and from the polygraph test, more than one, should I say, and so forth, so on. He is definitely has lied about the entire encounter with Terrence and has changed his story more than one time. But until you can find Terrence and or his body or Felipe Santos, who is the other gentleman missing from the same incident that occurred with Terrence, with this other gentleman, until one of them is found, it's almost at a standstill. There's no real evidence other than, what we know and the facts out there that this man picked up two different men at two different times, supposedly left them off at a Circle K, and both of them have vanished for numerous of years, and nobody's heard from either one of them. So, something is real wrong down there in Naples, Florida. And he has to let go of his job, but it was not concerning this. It was basically, I think the charge, Marcia, help me out, I can't remember. I think it was like
untruth.
Something. What was it?
And not untruth and not following police procedures.
Correct.
Monica and Marcia, what do we know about this police officer? Any facts, any weird things in his background of violence and suspensions or anything? Abuse?
I think that is kept under wraps. I don't know what Monica has found out. I asked Monica not to let me know everything because it upsets me.
Yeah.
But from what I know, everything has been kept undercover. But I'm almost sure that there is something out there.
This isn't his first. This isn't. I don't believe this is the first rodeo, and there. I can tell you, Susan, he's from Chicago, and there's just he had a wide range in his patrol area, and I can also tell you there are other disappearances that are unspoken for with Hispanic or Latino people from another county years prior that he also worked in that jurisdiction, which nothing can be proven, and it's all alleged at this point. But my gut says, until we can find Terrence or Felipe, because this is what started it, nobody else will receive any justice until all that starts to steamroll. And
But this sounds like a serial killing individual. This is a serial killing, so you would think that hopefully in Naples that the cold case or the FBI would step in. There's a number of people, more than one, that are seem to all be tied together. Is there a task force that you know of going on? Is there anybody really looking at this as, connect the dots kind of thing?
They are definitely looking at connecting the dots. They have tried to connect dots. They have done a lot. Of course, a lot that, Marcia doesn't want to know about, but they have done a lot, and they're very open to us, communicate well with us. We have been down there, a lot of times, one that they thought was going to connect the dot ended up not connecting. It's just the craziest case. I mean, when I got called on it, I just couldn't believe that people weren't in an uproar and that the entire state was like, are you kidding me? Are you not looking at this? And, these two men are missing. They both encountered this police officer. He has the same story that obviously is not true, and nobody's doing anything about it. But you can kick and scream all you want until we can get some more evidence. I just don't know where it's going to go. But I can tell you one thing, we're not giving up to find Terrence or Felipe. And when we do, I've been promised action will be made. So I guess that's just the missing link they're waiting on. And
is there any link, Monica, is there any link between Felipe and Terrence?
Absolutely, 100%.
The only thing is that
their crime, as far as their disappearances, but they never met each other. They didn't know.
Okay.
They come from two different walks of life, but the only thing they have in common is this police officer.
All right, we'll be right back. Crazy.
No, this is not American Idol. So keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Laurie Roth will be back in just mere moments.
Are you looking to buy gold and silver but don't know who to trust? I'm Dr. Laurie Roth, and let me tell you about GainesvilleCoins.com. Gainesville Coins has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, and not only that, but they are a 3-time recipient of the 5-star award for Best Bullion Dealer from the National Inflation Association. GainesvilleCoins.com has one of the largest selections of bullion for all your needs and can be purchased directly from their website. If you are ready to save money now for your future, visit GCIGold.com, where customer service is as important as the customer. That's GCIGold.com. Or you can reach a trader directly at 813-482-9300. That's 813-482-9300. Gainesville Coins is your triple threat against poverty, with excellent service, the best prices, and top flight reputation. So get prepared and plan ahead at GainesvilleCoins.com or call 813-482-9300. ForPhysics.com. It is the ultimate exploring and shopping experience. Finally, a site where beauty and mystery meet perfectly. No more wondering about what to get for that person who has absolutely everything. At ForPhysics.com, you will find everything from light crystals, self-powered all-purpose radios, Aquatine sundials, plasma balls, to lab equipment, educational resources, and much more. Prepare to spend a very, very long time at ForPhysics.com. At this amazing site, the mystery of science translates beautifully into all kinds of resources, gifts, and unique treasures that will really give you a whole lot of something to talk about. Get nerdy with it and show all your friends, family, and coworkers that science really is more fun. Display that light crystal or plasma ball while serenading your visitors on your self-powered radio. That's ForPhysics.com. Be there or be nowhere.
She's not gay, illegal, or handicapped, nor is she from Palestine. But she is special. She owns a gun, flies the U.S. flag, is on a first-name basis with Almighty God. And you don't have to ask the FBI to know where she stands. Her name is Dr. Laurie Roth, and here she is again, right now.
We're talking about a very perplexing case that shines the light of suspicion on a certain police officer. And we're talking about the disappearance 7 years ago of Terrence Williams. And Monica Cason of Q Center for Missing Persons is with us, with Marcia Williams, his mother, to discuss his disappearance just right out of the blue. And she's been telling you that story. And then there was another disappearance, Felipe Santos. The same story with the same cop. Is it a coincidence that the last person to see both men was a police officer? We're exploring that. Marcia, you know a bit about Felipe Santos, and he disappeared too, and this police officer had the same story with him. And was that before your son or after your son, or how did that work?
That was before my son. So somehow the Mexican consulate heard my story, and they contacted me, and they told me the same cop, same MO, same everything. Say that Felipe was dropped off at a Circle K, and he's disappeared also. So I started investigating and started asking questions. Mm-hmm. Felipe was pulled over because, well, he was in an accident. He caused an accident one morning. And Calkins just happened to be the one to answer the call. I was told that he put him in the back of his cruiser. He was going to take him down to the county, but Felipe never made it to the county. So another lie was told in the report. I took him to the Circle K because he did not have a cell phone. So I took him to the Circle K so that he could, get a ride, call someone to get a ride. Well, we found out that Felipe was in the same car with two of his brothers.
So you had witnesses.
And one of the brothers had a cell phone.
Yes.
Oh, so that just doesn't hold water. So the brothers were with him, and the cop said that he didn't have a phone, so he took him to Circle K to use a phone. Well, what about what allegedly happened to all the brothers and Felipe? They all disappeared?
The brothers, from what I can understand, everyone has moved back to New Mexico.
Except for Felipe, he just disappeared that day.
He just disappeared that day.
And the brothers don't know what happened?
They don't know what happened either. But according to Calkins, he was he was clean cut and mannerable. Same thing that he said about Terrence in the report. So he changed his mind and decided not to take him to lockup, but to take him to make a phone call so that he could get a ride.
I'm confused about the Felipe story, though. He was with his two other brothers.
His two other brothers.
And his two brothers, what? They walked away and left Felipe there, and then he disappeared? They were all together, weren't they?
No, the cop placed Felipe in the cruiser, in the back of the cruiser.
Away from the brothers.
Yes.
Okay, and left the brothers there. Okay, I get it now. And he allegedly then took him to the Circle K, and voila, no Felipe.
And no Felipe. But this was a different Circle K.
The brothers went to inquire about him in jail to get him out, and nothing. He never made it there. And that's when the investigation was first open as far as, you've got the brothers sitting there saying, wait a minute, he put my brother in the police car, and there was also another officer, that was on that scene that, basically her statement was taken as well. And he never shows up there. And that's the first story about the Circle K, and then this didn't happen. I let your brother out at the Circle K, and because they were, not Americans and were here illegally or what have you, it was pretty much just brushed under the rug. The police did look into it and investigate it and basically said, well, I think they believed him at first. But when it happened to Terrence a year and 2 months later,
3 months.
Then,
3 months.
Or 3 months, I'm sorry. Later.
72 hours after they dropped the case against him on Felipe.
Yeah, after they did the investigation. It took 3 months to do the investigation. It was the next year, but because Felipe got missing in October, and then it was like just hours, and he was cleared of that investigation, and then, Terrence gets missing in January. So it's like 2003, 2004, but it's just a few months apart from each other.
So, what do you? You've obviously speculated and had nightmare after nightmare, Marcia and Monica and Susan, wondering what on earth could this guy have done that day? Would he have taken him somewhere and shot him and buried him? I mean, what do you think could have happened without any other witnesses seeing anything?
Here in Collier County, there are so many fields, so many trees, so many back roads. I just, you can think every way possible.
Well, did anyone ever search his car or look for any evidence of a problem or blood or anything?
Yes. I was told, yes. I was told that.
So the police officer's car?
The police officer's car was searched, and it was said that his car was immaculate. I think that's the word that they used, said that it was clean.
So he probably had it detailed or something, just took it in someplace, or knew how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing with a cop. I mean, they could cover up anything.
Yes.
Well, he used to take his cruiser home, and, you know, he used to park it in the yard a lot, and on certain particular days it got drove into the garage. So you can, you know, one can, you know, use their imagination, but, you know, he did take his cruiser home. So it wasn't, you know, it's not far-fetched to pull it in the garage and detail it yourself.
Now, has anybody in the force who is investigating this Detective Calkins, were they watching for any changes in behavior with his family or bragging moments or anything strange with his behavior that anyone has recorded since then?
Not that I'm aware of, Monica. Monica, have you heard of anything?
They've definitely, you know, watched for all that, and they do have, you know, obviously he wasn't on the force much longer because he immediately went into interviews, i.e. interviews and polygraphs and so forth, because, see, if it wouldn't have been for Terrance's case, you know, Felipe would have never been known about because it just didn't, you know, it was kind of just, you know, it was what it was.
He took one polygraph or two polygraphs?
Two. And
he failed them both?
Yes.
But that wasn't the exact reason he was let go?
Right.
Right, because, yes, it was basically being untruthful, but Terrance's case stopped whatever, you know, the Circle K rides from happening again, you know, and we don't know how many before were ever Circle K rides. That's what we call them anyway, and, but, you know, Terrance's case basically stopped it all, but we haven't been able to move past that. We've conducted searches, we've done awareness campaigns, and you know, we continue to put Terrance out there in the community of Naples, but it's a very, you know, tough community. You know, Marcia's not originally from there either.
Yeah.
And, you know, and she remains down there because of her son being missing down there. You know, she's not from even that state. So it's just been a very tough case. The law enforcement is very supportive, and they're working on it, but we need a break. I mean, we need a break beyond somebody. We already got the people who saw something that day. We need beyond that. If there is another missing person out there that has gone unnoticed that, you know, supposedly took a ride in a police car, we need another missing person that's even been recovered that took a ride in a police car.
Yeah, I want to know all kinds of people that Calkins has put in his car, don't you?
I would love to know. But I can tell you on one particular occasion of one of the disappearances, I think his family happened to be out of town as well. So, you know, it's every red flag that you can fly. Let's just go ahead and fly them. And, you know, I know what I believe, and all I can say is that, you know, law enforcement down in Naples, they need a break. They need a break in this case. They need someone else to come forward, someone who was maybe afraid to report their loved one missing, you know, because they were illegal or what have you, somebody from the Immokalee area that has a missing person and maybe we don't know about them.
Well, what if you put it in Spanish in there and got some stuff down there and did a campaign? Is that possible?
That's, well, the Felipe's family and the Mexican consulate, I think they did that. Did they not, Marcia? I think they stepped out quite a few. I mean, they've attended my events down there for Terrance as well and spoken Spanish to the Latino community. And I'm also a very source in the Latino community as well, and I've been interpreted as well. So
I mean, as far as there was a case I remember a couple of years ago, and he was fleeing, and we wound up doing some stuff, but it was all in Spanish. Actually, I had blogs done in Spanish. I had some stuff converted, and then just laundromats, gas stations in Spanish. People would put it in the windows, or on those boards when you go to the restrooms. When you stop at a gas station or a convenience store, or there's those little lunchrooms or Subway store, you can clip it on the board over there, or you can put the information up in Spanish. And again, where they go, they would. I think that you might get some hits off of doing something like that.
We could do that in a monthly.
We have, and it's definitely something we can revisit again, but we focused heavily on the laundromats because we know that we frequent that every week.
Hold that thought. We'll dive in on the other side. And I want you to tell the folks, Monica, where they can help, what your website is, and contact information that you like to share, guys.
No, this is not American Idol. So keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Laurie Roth will be back in just mere moments.
Don't answer it.
If fear strikes your heart when the phone rings, knowing it may be another bill collector, it's time for you to call Zero Debt in 90 days. 800-477-9256. Settlements, bankruptcy, and attorneys are not the answer and may end up costing you up to 10 times more than necessary. Listen, if you're already in debt, does it make sense to get buried in another payment plan? Zero Debt in 90 days gets you out of debt in 90 days guaranteed, without a payment plan and without attorneys or going to court. Get the fastest relief from debt on the planet when you call 800-477-9256. If you have debt with the IRS, credit cards, student loans, or a foreclosure, we can help at Zero Debt in 90 days, and we are the only organization to provide written guarantees on the results. Go to ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. That's ZeroDebtGuaranteed.com. Or call now for free information. 800-477-9256. That's 800-477-9256.
Her name is Dr. Laurie Roth, and here she is again, right now.
I'm talking to some very brave and amazing ladies right now. Marcia Williams, the mother of Terrence Williams, who's been missing for 7 years, trying to get to the bottom of this nightmare. And Monica Quezon, another amazing gal, head of Q Center for Missing Persons, and Susan Murphy-Milano. Marcia, give us a family perspective of this amazing conference coming up. What is the conference, and what is it about as far as families?
It put people together that are just like me. When Terrence disappeared, I felt as if I was an outcast. Mm-hmm. And when I went to the conference, I was like, oh my God, there are people just like me. You don't have to explain yourself, because they all feel the way you do, because they have missing loved ones also. And it just makes you feel as if you're wanted, that you do belong somewhere, that you're not lost, that you do have someone on your side. Mm-hmm. And it's very sad, because you hear of stories that are worse than yours.
I want to find out on the other side. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, thank God you guys pulled together. And Monica, I want you to close and tell us about the conference, a website, how people can get connected if they want to go to the conference, if they're a victim and they have a family member missing, how they can get connected with you on the other side.
No, this is not American Idol. Keep your shirt on and keep your powder dry. Dr. Laurie Roth will be back in just mere moments. Her name is Dr. Laurie Roth, and here she is again, right now.
Monica, Marcia told us about the wonderful impact on family members who feel alone and totally despondent, like they're on a planet by themselves with their pain, about this conference coming up. Can you tell us the dates of it and the website, how people can connect and get a part of this?
Absolutely. It is the 7th Annual National Roundtable Conference. It's held in Wilmington each year. The dates this year are March 24th through the 27th. Which is next week. It begins on Thursday night. We have a load of stuff. It's a very packed 4 days. Thursday night, people expect to start arriving. There'll be an informal meet and greet, and tables will be set up displaying missing persons and other organizations and what have you. All day Friday, we have Illuminations, which is an 8-hour course about child victimization and other things that go along with that. We'll also have a guest appearance from the story of Adam Walsh, and Joe Matthews will be coming in and giving that presentation, and the book will be on sale for that as well. Friday night, it's our fun night where we have a karaoke-type party. Saturday, we go into workshops, which Susan is one of our instructors this year, which we're very excited about. And then Saturday night, all the attendees from the conference are shuttled to downtown, where they block off literally the downtown area on the waterfront, and we hold a candlelight service and in honor of all the missing people. And then Sunday we wrap up with an open discussion where people can stand up and give their, open feelings about their case and the struggles, and law enforcement and others at the conference will address that and find a solution together as a team. It's just a very powerful and impactful weekend. Great training to help empower the victim, and also for people that are professionals to actually learn how to have empathy for the victim and understand what the victims go through. So it's a very mixed crowd. We'll have coroners, search teams, private investigators, law enforcement, families, you name it, will be there. What's your website, and how do they, on your website, is there specific directions, or is there an address, or the fees? Yes. Our website is www.nc.missing persons. You just go to right there on the front page is the news section. You click on the national conference. It has the entire lineup, and you can actually register online. Registrations do close this Sunday at midnight. So, we still have a few days left if you want to register and be a part of this year's event. But the Candlelight Vigil is open to the public. And so people that even don't attend the conference are more than welcome to come out at 7:30 at Riverfront Park in downtown Wilmington. Candles will be provided, and that's just an entire event in itself. It's a 45-minute program, and it's just very touching. Well, you are doing this in the same town that my in-laws live in. My husband is from that area. Susan, in our final minute, could you please give your website and the books that people can get their hands on to help themselves? It's SusanMurphyMilano.com, and the book's Time's Up. Go get it on Amazon. If you're seeing a number of these cases where these women are getting killed. There's one today in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, New York. She disappeared. She vanished. We need to get this out there. People need to do the EAA, or the evidentiary abuse affidavit and video. When you say you're going to end the relationship, just before you say it, you've got to do this. It will save lives if you follow the curriculum in the book, but it will also save so much pain and heartache to families of the missing and murdered to do the evidentiary abuse affidavit. It is precious. As Cheryl McCollum said to me from the Cold Case Institute 2 weeks ago, she was, Susan, this is the Amber Alert for the country for the women, is the EAA. So please, the book's Time's Up, and please go get it. I love it. Marcia, thank you. Monica and Susan, you guys rock. Thank you. Thank you. You know by now that God, country, and our moral heritage are not for sale, and our great country needs your fervent prayers. Talk to your friends. Talk to your enemies. Spread the word about the Roth Show. Check out Laurie's articles, archives, and great sponsors. Go to therothshow.com. Remember to pray for our country, and remember to be back next time, right here for The Roth Show with Dr. Laurie Roth.
Now batting for the Wounded Warrior Project, Johnny Damon.
Last year, I joined the Wounded Warrior Project as their national spokesman. During that time, I have met some of the most amazing men and women who were injured in the War on Terror in Iraq and Afghanistan. I have visited the hospitals and have witnessed the enduring spirits of those recovering. These brave warriors have suffered catastrophic injuries. Many are missing limbs or have been badly burned. Some will suffer through the effects of traumatic brain injuries for the rest of their lives. Regardless of your position on the war, one thing is for certain. These heroes and their loved ones deserve our help.
No wounded veteran should bear the weight of his or her sacrifice alone. Through the Wounded Warrior Project, we can enrich these war veterans' lives with adaptive programs that will get them back into life's mainstream.
Log on to woundedwarriorproject.org to find out more about this fine organization that is helping these returning injured veterans and their families with their new lives. The greatest casualty is being forgotten. Let's make sure this doesn't happen to my brave friends.